choice. J.C. Bergeron gets his first start in nearly 2 months. He kicked out 27 of 29 to help the Knights win in overtime. Meanwhile, the Komets will come back with Peter Sidorkiewicz looking for some consistency. He's been up and down, but if he's hot, the Knights will have trouble scoring. There's the AT&T goalie versus goalie matchup. John Paris, the head coach of the Atlanta Knights, has had one thing on his mind since coming to this job in March, and that is the Turner Cup. He's 1 win away. Bruce Boudreau still owns the Turner Cup. The Komets won it last year, and he's hoping to hang on. We've told you about Bergeron and Sidorkiewicz. A lot of pressure on that guy as we're just about ready to go. The referee for tonight's hockey game is Rob Martell with Jay Jacobs and Tim Nowak, the linesman. The Knights in the traveling black, moving offensively to the left. LaRouche wins the draw. Fort Wayne in the home white with the orange piping, moving offensively to the right. The Knights win the face-off and dump it in. Sidorkiewicz can't track it down. Jason Ruff leaves it towards Trulia. Lost it in the near circle down to our left. Here's Lee Davidson the other way. Davidson across the line for Hurd. Slap shot wide. A great opportunity in the opening seconds, and Hurd fired it wide. Now a shot knocked down by Trulia. Here comes Atlanta. 3-on-3 across the line. Trulia around the defender for a backhand. He sends it in front. Cleared wide, and now Ruff tries to make a play. Jason Ruff leaves it for Trulia. Near circle, cross ice, past LaRouche, and now it's played by the Komets. Up but not out. Buchanan sends it back ahead. Richardson can't get it past Trulia. Loose along the fireboards, down to our left, where Kevin McDonald picks it up. They dump it all the way down. We'll get an icing call. And we want to point out that Fort Wayne started big number 77, Steve Fletcher, seeing his first action of the playoff finals. And he can be a big, big key player for the Komets. The Knights have lost 7 of their last 9 here, but of course 2 big wins so far. The Komets have won 15 of their last 18 home playoff games, and Steve Fletcher is part of that success.
Fletcher plays a very aggressive style of hockey, very intimidating. He hits hard, and the Knights will have to look over their shoulder when that man, number 77, Steve Fletcher's on the ice.
He does not play a lot on the road, and he doesn't bring a lot to the rink besides his toughness, but he can be very, very disruptive. We've talked before about Fort Wayne agitate and disrupt, and they can do it. Now the Knights forechecking. Fort Wayne pushes it to center, but here's Billy McDougall playing on a bum wheel, dumping it in. However, there's kind of a no tomorrow as far as the Knights feel. They want to wrap this thing up here. So McDougall is going. Now Sharon, bothered along the far boards by Purvis, keeps it in. In the corner, taken away by Big Jim Cummins. Right in front, entered the shot just wide. At the near point, Corey Cross. He fires in front. Taken away by Colin Chin. Chin clears the zone. Too far for John Purvis. And Sharon chasing. Plays it behind his own net to Devin Edgerton. Cross ice up the far side, the right wing boards. It's Jim Cummins. He dumps it behind the net for Sidorkiewicz. Leaves it for the defense. Picked up by number 3, Dave Tredowitz, and the Komets moving offensively to the right. Lose it at center ice. And so far, Atlanta doing one of their keys, Mark Miller, forechecking.
They've forechecked, and they're coming out well early. Other than that shot by Hurd, the Knights have controlled the play in the first part of the first period.
Harry Lusick springs Dave Smith. 14 broken up by the Rock. Norman Rochefort, and cleared into the Komet zone. If it's played by Gretzky, that would be a 2-line pass. He leaves it for Dupuis, and play carries on. The puck loose at center. Rochefort bangs it off the near glass, back into the Komet zone. We've played 2.5 minutes into the first period. No score. Big bump in the corner by Medill. The puck loose along the far boards. Atlanta attack zone. Behind the net, Dupuis brings it up the near side. Off a skate, played to Darren Smith. This rough, tough customer dumps it in, played by the Atlanta Knights. Gretzky whips it around the boards. A little room for Medill. The Mad Dog flips it ahead for Christian Campo. He was bothered by McDonald. The Knights change on the play, and Fort Wayne dumps it into the Atlanta zone. A chase for the puck, a potential icing. We got the whistle and we'll pause. We're 3 minutes into the hockey game, no score. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
Everybody hates to eat and run. We'd rather take it slow. But the way this life is going, gotta grab your food and go. And when all that running round catches up with you at last, get yourself some Alka-Seltzer and you'll feel better fast.
for acid indigestion or heartburn with headache, nothing makes you feel better faster than Alka-Seltzer.
Get yourself some Alka-Seltzer and you'll feel better fast.
We're back in Fort Wayne. Face-off in Atlanta's attack zone. Down to our left, far circle. A battle for the puck. Drulia trying to kick it free as the leader line is back out there. LaRouche, Drulia, and Ruff. But it's played by the Komets. Flipped into the zone by Ian Boyce. Kelly Hurd catches up to it. Looks for the play. Hurd, far corner, bothered by Jason Ruff, who steals the puck. A drop pass for Steve LaRouche. On the fly, it's Rivers around the defender. A weak backhand steered wide by Sidorkowitz. A look at the speed of Sean Rivers as he jumped into the play. Now the puck played by the Atlanta Knights. No offside call. Trulia dodges a check in the far corner down to our left. McDonald pushes him off the play. The puck for Davidson. They're still digging for it in the corner. Davidson can't get it past Buchanan. A quick shot, and Sidorkowitz grabs it with a glove and hangs on.
Great forechecking so far by the Atlanta Knights. Drulia just a workhorse in the corner. Watch the play here as the Atlanta Knights take it to the corner, and the captain, Stan Drulia, constantly working, makes a great play there to keep Kevin McDonald from coming out of the zone with the puck. There you see Drulia's numbers in the playoffs. 22 points in 12 games. A remarkable playoff run by the captain.
Following his team-leading regular season, in which he had 54 goals and 114 points. Now Fort Wayne wins the draw. Terry Lusick lays it off the near boards for John Purvis. Dumps it back to Lusick as the Knights continue this forechecking. It's been relentless in the early going. Colin Chin for Purvis. Too far, and Corey Cross dumps it ahead. Take a look at the shots on goal early. Atlanta 4-0 in that category. Now Lusick for Colin Chin. He had 2 goals in the game on Thursday. Dumped behind the net, played by Cross.
Good job by Atlanta right there. They had 4 black jerseys on the blue line, standing up the Komets.
Dumped into the Fort Wayne zone where Sidorkowitz flips it along the near boards. And Lusick steers it to center ice. Purvis tracks it down. Into the zone, stops at the near point. Feeds it in front for Vladimir Siplikov. Bumped off the play on a good play by Sharon. Siplikov got hit again, that time by Cummins, and Sharon plays the puck. No score, almost 5 minutes into the first period. We're in Fort Wayne. The Knights leading the series 3-1. Atlanta 11-1 in the playoffs. Looking to win the Turner Cup tonight. Siplikov intercepts for the Komets. Here's Purvis. Bad angle, couldn't get a shot away. Roachford rubs him out, and the puck free for Cummins. He steers it to Edgerton, couldn't get it out of the zone. Tipped ahead to center ice, and Kerry Lusick has to flip it back in for the Komets.
Fort Wayne doing a good job of forechecking of their own right there. Good pressure by the Komets.
Evan Edgerton feeds it to McDougal up the near side across the line. Quick snapshot, that's a rebound, and Cummins couldn't get a stick on it. Now the puck free and played by Dave Kretowitz in his own zone for Darren Smith. Smith feeds it to center ice, and Big Max Middendorf could not track it down. Back into the Atlanta zone. Knocked down by Gretzky, but right onto the stick of Kelly Hurd. Check that. That's Fletcher, big Steve Fletcher. And now the puck played by Atlanta. They dump it in and will change on the play.
Fletcher, Middendorf, and Darren Smith all out there. It's a huge line for the Komets.
You know what they're out there for, and it's not scoring. Now the Knights bang it off the near boards, dumped in by Gretzky. Sidorkowitz feeds it to the far side, but Campo able to play it. He's two-timed. The puck squirts free, and then it's dumped all the way down by Fletcher. This will be an icing call. And when we come back after this pause, we'll have more hockey. No score in Fort Wayne. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
May is the hottest month at Toyota. And Camry deals are just as hot. Now you can lease Camry for just $249 a month. Lease the 2-door or 4-door with dual airbags, automatic transmission, air conditioning, AM/FM cassette, power steering, cruise control, power windows and locks, and more. Camry's the best car built in the U.S. Do you like it hot? See your Toyota dealer because hot deals like this end soon. Toyota!
Back at the Coliseum in Fort Wayne. The Atlanta Knights and the Fort Wayne Komets scoreless in the early going. 6.5 minutes into the first period, and Atlanta comes out of their zone, moving offensively to the left. Intercepted by Fort Wayne. Here's Kelly Hurd across the line. Near circle in front. And Boyce shot it wide and then got pushed into the net. Sean Rivers pushed him into the net off the moorings, and Boyce very slow to get up. And it appears he went in leg first. He may have an injured wheel. What a rush up the rink on the turnover at center ice. We'll have another look.
The 5'9", 177-pound Boyce goes crashing and then he's tripped up by Rivers. And watch that as he catches it right on the knee. Boyce has played outstanding in the playoffs. Rivers, when he muffed the puck at center ice, that created a 2-on-1. And that's up around the thigh. That could be a Charlie horse or something there for Boyce.
There's a lot of padding in those leg pads, those pants that they wear, but not that much when you're flying however many miles an hour, 25, 30 miles an hour on those skates, charging into that post. Even with a little give to the post, that hurts, and Boyce is up and heading back to the bench.
Boyce has been one of the best Komets on the ice consistently through this series. He's been all over the Atlanta Knights. As we take a look at this 2-on-1 again from right above the net, watching and Boyce sliding into the net. Former University of Vermont player goes crashing in, knocks the net off the mooring. Face off deep in the Atlanta zone.
Now Lee Davidson is out there to take the draw for the Komets. He's got Dave Smith on the right wing, that's the near side. Kelly Hurd on the left wing on the far side. They've got Grant Richardson and Kevin McDonald on the back line. John Paris for the Atlanta Knights answers with the leader line, LaRouche, Julia, and Rupp, with Sharon and Corey Cross, the defenseman in front of J.C. Bergeron, getting the call tonight. Mike Greenlay victimized early in the game. Boy, there's a big hit on Julia from behind, but the puck across the line, played by the Komets. Now here comes Richardson across the line into the attack zone. Throws it on net, and Bergeron happy to cover up. We're 7 minutes into it, no score. We'll take this time out and come right back. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
Ole, 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 ole. May is the hottest month at Toyota. That means you can save on tough Toyota trucks. Get behind the wheel and you'll know why we call them tough. And if you act now, you can save on an affordable truck lease. Just $129 a month for 18 months. That's $129 a month. I told you this place is hot. Hot trucks, hot deals. Hurry to your Toyota dealer now, because hot deals like this end soon. Toyota.
Well, there you see a group of those who made the trip from Atlanta. Almost 150 strong on that charter flight put together by Don Baker of Conley Buick. Wait till we show you a picture of him. Now the Knights onside across the line. Sharon lost it to Davidson, wheeling dangerously in front of his own net. Now makes the play to Richardson. Tipped nicely to Kelly Hurd on the fly. Slap shot. Hey, a good kick save, a skate save by Bergeron. And the Knights clear the zone. That's twice Hurd's been flying into the zone for big shots.
And he's taken every pass from me and Boyce, the two of them working well so far in this hockey game. Hurd's been relatively silent for this entire series.
Now Danny Lambert out of his own zone, moving to the right. Into the attack zone. Lambert lost it. Played at center by McDougal. He lost it. Catches up to it and flips a backhander to center ice. No score. We're now almost 8 minutes into the first period. Certainly a change from what we experienced on Thursday.
At this point, it was 4-0 Fort Wayne.
And soon to be 5. Now the puck played by the Atlanta Knights. A big, long slap shot by Eric Dubois, and Sidorkowitz figures he better cover up.
Jim Cummins pulled 3 Fort Wayne players to the front of the net. It takes a lot of people to slow down big number 29. As you see, Dubois fired that big slap shot on net.
There you see Peter Sidorkowitz of the Komets. Somewhat beleaguered in that his play has been real good some nights, not so good other nights in the playoffs, and the Komets need a big night out of him tonight. The Atlanta Knights also have to try and slow down this guy, Vladimir Siplikov, maybe Fort Wayne's overall best player.
I would have to agree with you, Kenny. It's amazing that he is not owned by any NHL team.
Now the puck played along the near boards. The Komets steer it to center ice. Swatting at the airborne puck. Dubois finally corrals it and sends it back into the attack zone, where Kerry Lucic steers it to John Purvis. The cross-ice pass broken up by Devin Edgerton. And what an outstanding defensive game we're seeing both sides, even though Birds had a couple of chances, the Knights have had a couple of chances. A big, solid defensive effort both ways. Now Colin Chin into the zone. Kicks it over to the far side and lost it. Broken up by the Knights and sent to center. Dumped back in by the Komets and played by Atlanta.
And that type of defensive game favors Atlanta. They want to get out of this first period with a tie or a one-goal lead.
Now Billy McDougal on the drive to the blue line. Bumped off the play and a good hit. The puck taken away by Dave Smith. Across the line, drop pass Purvis. He fell down as he shot it. It hit a skate, turned to the corner. Now Sharon looking for the play. Push to the head, broken up by Lucas. Ball drives onside. Darren Smith to Dave Smith. Off the blocker of Bergeron. The puck loose behind the net. A battle forward to the corner. Mittendorf, deep slot, Dupuis. Wrist shot, save! And Bergeron hangs on. Buzzing the net, the Komets with a near miss there. Bergeron up to the task, and the fans here in Fort Wayne respond.
That all started when Eric Sharon tried to hit Christian Campo with a very slow pass. Got to put some mustard on the pass, and that turnover created opportunities, and Fort Wayne started buzzing the net. Finished with that shot from the point by Dupuis, with Bergeron right there to hang on.
That's an amazing story. Bergeron had not played in 7 weeks, had not seen live game action. And a credit to his work ethic, his practice play, the ability to keep himself sharp and ready to go after a 7-week layoff. He replaces Mike Greenlay, who had that spectacular 10-0 run to put the Knights in the position to win the Turner Cup.
No doubt about it. JC was this man's biggest cheerleader when Mike Greenlay was winning hockey games. And you can guarantee that that role will be flip-flopped for tonight's game.
Now the draw to Dupuis. He rolls it off the side of the cage. Mittendorf centers. Good play by Darren Smith to keep it alive. Then he pushes it behind the net. Played by Atlanta to Campo. He leaves it across. So doing, takes the big hit from Darren Smith. Never saw a potential hit he wouldn't take. But the Knights carry to the line as Everett Sharon dumps it in. And Atlanta will change. Medill, Rivers, and Buchanan come out. As the checking line is out there now. Campo, Gretzky, and Medill. Intercepted right there for Gretzky. Tips to the deep slot in Rivers. He lost it to Dave Smith, who cleared the center. A near miss on a play there for the Knights. Here's Rivers across the line, trying to feed a cutting Campo. It carries to the far corner. Sidorkowicz well out of the play. Keeps it alive, and here come the Komets, the 3-on-2. Dave Smith with Darren Smith. Darren Smith near circle. His pass broken up on a good play by Rivers, breaking up the rush up the rink. Now Gretzky trying to steal the puck. Pushes it to Sean Rivers, and now to Jeff Buchanan.
Another big play by Rivers. Sean Rivers right now maybe playing the best hockey of his career.
Buchanan recovering off that bad pass on a diving play, steered it to center for a 2-line pass. We're going to whistle and more when we return. We'll break. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
Mary, Mary, quite contrary. Your diaper has sprung a leak. Go pick some Huggies Ultra Trim. The way they protect is unique. Huggies have unbeatable leakage protection because they're the only thin diapers with leak barriers made of special material that helps keep leaks from getting out, but still lets air in next to the skin. Now her garden is growing, and Mary is glowing with Huggies Ultra Trim diapers.
A near miss for the Atlanta Knights here.
Aggressive forechecking continues. They get Mittendorf to give up the puck behind the net. Watch the pass from Campo. Poke check by Sidorkowicz as Gretzky was right there on the doorstep.
Face-off just inside the Atlanta line, down to our right, won by the Knights. Buchanan and Rivers on the back line. The leader line back out. The Knights give it up in front. Davidson shot, save, and Bergeron able to keep it between the pads. A misplay on the back line put Davidson right in front of Bergeron all alone with a puck. Bergeron made the save. The puck lay right there in his pads. He was able to smother it.
Not the place to be playing pitch and catch with the puck in front of your goaltender. As Rivers and Buchanan trying to get something going. Watch Bucky look down for a second when he looked up to made the pass. Davidson anticipated it, cut right in front. Bergeron called on big there.
The 25-year-old Lee Davidson had 25 goals during the regular season and had the lucky bounce right onto a stick, so to speak, on that play. And the point McDonald shot. Oh, it turned off of Bergeron. Now the puck bounced back into the Atlanta zone. Steered ahead to Jason Ruff. Now Rochefort. Long pass off the skate of LaRouche into the zone. Sidorkiewicz bangs it up the far side. Knocked off a chin stick by Dubois. Steered up the near side to Kelly Hurd. He lost it to Ruff. LaRouche in front for Trulia. He was tied up, could not get a shot away. Now Trulia, far corner, sends it behind the net for Mushy. It's on the back of the cage. And we finally get the whistle as it's on the mesh. And we'll have a face-off when we return. No score in Fort Wayne. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
As you can see, we have quite a selection.
If you won $2 million playing Lotto Georgia,
I'll take it. I'll take it.
you could afford to buy a dream car every month or so for the next 20 years.
I'll take it.
Why not?
I'll take it.
Think about it. Play Lotto Georgia, because a few million still goes pretty far these days.
Huh?
From left to right, there you see Colin Miller, Scott Boston, and the other Flash. The Saginaw Flash is to my right, but that's Scott Gordon. Flash Gordon, the third goaltender on the playoff roster. And we'll be chatting during these intermissions coming up with both Colin Miller and Scotty Gordon. Right now, no score. 8.5 minutes left first period, and here's John Purvis for the Komets. Rolls it in the corner for Siplikoff. Broken up, and Jim Cummins takes the puck. Steers it up the far side where Purvis forechecking, leaves it for Siplikoff. Far point. Lambert fires, deflected wide of the near post. Lambert's got the cannon from the point. The Knights able to clear the center, but Siplikoff plays it back into the zone. Siplikoff dodges the check. Lost it to Edgerton. Free for Colin Chin. In front for Siplikoff. Broken up as Chin could not get everything on that pass. Now Edgerton trying to catch up to it. On a diving play, pushes it into the zone, and Lambert tracks it down, steers it up the far boards. To center ice and Colin Chin. Moving to the right, gains the zone. Flips a long one. Grabbed by Bergeron. No whistle from Martel as Bergeron steers it up the far boards. Tredowitz shot, hit a skate to the near side, and Lucic, a little room at the circle, bothered by Edgerton. Lucic kicks it into the corner. Edgerton trying to tie him up. Now McDougall trying to play the puck. It comes to Big Steve Fletcher. Slap shot broken up by McDougall. The puck to the far corner. Fletcher there first. He and Cummins collide. Now Rivers plays the puck. Up the near side to Edgerton. Whoa, what a whack he takes from Dupuis. What a breakaway, McDougall with Cummins. McDougall fell down. The pass to Cummins. He got a shot away. It would not have counted because the stick was above the shoulder. And here come the Komets, 3-on-3 the other way. Flipped in by Dave Smith. Tracked down by Mathill. Dupuis lost it. Picked up by Jim Cummins. To Gretzky, up the near side. Gretzky for Cummings near circle. Cummins tipped off his stick on a good play by Ian Boyce, who's been all over the rink the entire series. Now Guy Dupuis from the red line dumps it in. Bergeron leaves it there for Eric Dubois. No score in the hockey game. 6.5 minutes left in the first period. Dubois feeds it to the far side, offside, whistled at the blue line. As we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone. John Parrott saw his team with its best scoring opportunity of the game just moments ago. Watched the breakaway opportunity as McDougall just lost his skate, couldn't get the shot away, and couldn't get a good pass away for Cummins.
We talked about McDougall having the bum wheel. Edgerton takes the hit. But look at the miscue at center ice by Fort Wayne. And right here, Billy just loses his skate. He saw Big Fletcher coming. Cummins take the swat at it, but like Kenny said, that was definitely a high stick and would not have counted had it gone in.
Now the puck played by the Fort Wayne Komets. McDonald in his own zone did a good job to get it out of harm's way as he was stumbling. Now the puck dumped in by Fort Wayne. Norman Rochefort behind the net. To Rock. Up the far side. A shot fired wide by the Komets. Battle for the puck along the near boards. Boyce tied up by Campo. Now Mathill, far side in his own zone, bothered by Davidson. Now Rochefort leaves it for Dubois. Gretzky cuts past the center. Too far for Campo, but Dubois following the play beats Gretzky. Takes the shot around the checker, rolls it in front, shot! Oh! A great skate save by Sidorkiewicz as he made the play on the shot by Medill. Now Fort Wayne rolls into the Atlanta zone. The Komets will change, and Sean Rivers starts the play. Here comes Sean Rivers. Feeds it to Medill. Medill dumps it in. It hit a skate. Never got in. Here's Siplikoff the other way. Siplikoff into the zone. Bothered by Rivers. The puck along the near boards. Picked up now by Chin. Looking for help. Throws it in front. Steered out of there by Bergeron. And here's Ruff. Ruffles out of their zone. Fell down. Lucic feeds it ahead. Siplikoff across the line. Onside. Purvis. Drop past Chin. Along the near boards. Down to our right. Centers. Arms off the skate. Loose in front. Played by LaRouche. Here's Mushy. 3-on-3 to the line. LaRouche with Ruffles. LaRouche drop past Ruff near point. His weak shot gloved by Sidorkiewicz, and he hangs on. Took a little punch to the chops at LaRouche. No call, and we'll pause. We're scoreless in Fort Wayne. 5 minutes left in the first. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
What's cool? What's hot? And looks awesome on you.
WCW wear.
That's right. We're going to make you look good with the new official WCW wear.
This stuff is excellent. Oh, yeah.
We've got t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, shirts, and more. Cool clothes for all ages. WCW wear.
Where?
Right here. To order your WCW wear, get the catalog by calling toll-free 1-800-4WCW now.
Back in Fort Wayne, watch this Atlanta rush from the end zone.
This all started with the Atlanta Knights being patient, breaking out of their own zone. Dubois to Gretzky. Gretzky centers it in front, and Medill tries to go 5-0 with that, but Sidorkiewicz had his leg pads stacked and makes the save. Watch Sidorkiewicz stack the pad.
That
got
puck
underneath
got through.
the first, got over the pad, or underneath the pad rather, but the back pad kicked it out. Good job by Sidorkiewicz.
Great pass from Gretzky. Now a 3-on-2 off the draw. Into the zone, Smith. Middendorf to the net. The shot, a save, the rebound. Kept alive by Richardson along the fireboard. His shot right through the goal mouth with Dave Smith right there, and now here's Drulia. No score in the hockey game. 4:44 to go, first period. Jason Ruff moving in front. LaRouche, a goal! A perfect pass to Steve LaRouche, and Mushy does it again. His 8th goal of the series. His 6th goal in 2 games, and the man who single-handedly murdered the Komets in Game 4 scores the first goal of Game 5, and the Atlanta Knights lead it 1-0. And that time on the rush up the rink, the Knights capitalize.
Drulia makes a great drop pass. You notice 2 men come over to play Drulia. Ruff picks up the puck 2-on-1, and you will not see many mistakes. Watch Middendorf. He's hooking Drulia, and you see a second player come over to make the check. I believe it was McDonald. The pass goes to LaRouche. He dumps it in the open net. Great play by Stan Drulia, gaining the zone with 2 men on him and making that drop pass.
Now we're back to action. The Knights on top, 1-0. Drulia, LaRouche, and Ruff, the leader line, getting the job done again. And it's 1-0, and we'll pause. Back after this. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
I know what you're feeling, though we're far apart. I hear you in my heart. You know the way to make this heart rejoice. The real you coming through, your true voice.
We're back in Fort Wayne with Mark Miller, Ken Double. 1-0 Atlanta in front, and the puck right off the side of the Atlanta net. Steered ahead, a near miss for the Komets there. Edgerton, his head man pass to Cummins too far. Knocked back into the Atlanta zone. The Komets pushing. It's Siplikoff to the point. Lambert's deflected wide by Purvis. Now Lucic could not keep it in. Played by Edgerton. His feed to Cummins. He flips it into the Fort Wayne zone, and the Knights chase after it. Big bump from Edgerton on Lucic. The puck steered here to the near side, played by Colin Chin. For Purvis. Moving to the right to the red line. Purvis to the blue line. Could not get around Dubois. And the puck sent ahead. Cummins cross ice. Here's Edgerton. He fires it in wide. Takes the big bump from Dupuis. The Knights change, and here come the Komets. Dave Smith pushes it in. Bergeron leaves it for Rosberg. Now Fletcher whacks Medill. The puck up the near side, and Gretzky just sends it into the Fort Wayne zone. No icing. Kredowitz tracks it down for the Komets. Long feed up the far side for Darren Smith. Pump there on a good hit by Medill. Leaves the puck for Campo. He takes a rough ride from Dave Smith. And now here's Dupuis. Flips it in, and Dave Smith behind the play. Gets there first. Centers, nobody home but Rochford. Now the Rock lost it in the corner. Here's Fletcher. Fletcher cross ice in. Dupuis, block save, Bergeron. And Fletcher could not find the rebound. Dupuis shoots, deflected. It comes here to the near side, and Fletcher to the point, and Dupuis. Another shot, kick to the deep slot. Another shot, loose in front, and clear to the far corner. Darren Smith and Medill collide. Medill goes down, the puck underneath. We get a whistle. Pushing and shoving, Darren Smith now in Dubois. And I believe we'll have our first penalties of the hockey game. I think Rob Martell is going to whistle a couple of guys to the box.
I've been a little surprised. This line that he's using is a huge line with Smith, and Fletcher, but he's using them against the Knights' checking line, essentially. He has not put Fletcher on the ice with Stan Drulli and Steve LaRouche. Maybe Bruce Boudreau is afraid of the speed with the slow Fletcher.
No question. Now the referee, Rob Martell, no penalties called. Instead, we'll keep play going 5-on-5 in what has been a penalty-free first period so far. The Knights in front 1-0. Quick hellos back to the Bergman family. Got to make sure that the grandkids get the word, and Wendy, get over the chicken pox. Grandpa wants to make sure that you're feeling better. And hello also to Kyle, TJ, Adam, Jason, and Joshua watching back home in Atlanta. Now the puck for Portland. Shot, save. Boyce with a backhander on his way down. Kicked out by Bergeron. The puck free for Boyce. Steers it along the near boards. Picked off by Rivers. Now Rivers out of his zone, off the glass. Jason Ruff could not make the play. It's into the Fort Wayne zone, and icing is called. And we'll have a face-off back down the other way. And fans, even though no matter what happens, Atlanta Knights hockey will be over soon, you won't miss hockey necessarily, because RHI, roller hockey, the Fire Ants, open June 10th at the Omni against Florida. And we hope you're making your plans to cheer on Atlanta's newest professional team. It's roller hockey, the Fire Ants, Friday, June 10th at 7:30. There's the number, Ticketmaster, 249-6400 for tickets. Now the puck played by the Komets. McDonald's shot deflected wide. 1-0 Atlanta in front with 2 minutes to go in the first period. Fort Wayne forechecking. The Knights just push it to center. And into the Fort Wayne zone where Grant Richardson plays it. Up the far side, a touch pass for Lee Davidson. His pass broken up by Jason Ruff, and Bucky Buchanan has it in his own zone. Beats it ahead, past everybody. Had McDonald touched that puck, that would have been too many men on the ice. And as it stands, it is an icing call against Atlanta with 1:37 left in the first period. And the Knights, as you see Coach John Paris leading in this one. John looks like he's about ready to come out on the ice. We'll chat about the first period during the intermission. We'll also chat with Colin Miller, recovering from the knee surgery. And we'll have the scoring highlights and more, all coming up in just a couple of minutes. John Paris looking very dapper tonight, as usual. Getting right to the door as you get a look at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum. And Mark Miller, there are a few more empty seats tonight in here than there were on Thursday.
Yeah, it's a sellout, but definitely a few no-shows, and it's surprising for this small town in the IHL. This team certainly loves their Komets. It's kind of surprising to see anybody give up on them.
Now here comes Devin Edgerton for the Atlanta Knights into the attack zone. Fakes the slap shot, looks for the play to the far point, and Trulia. He fires it. It goes behind the net here to the near side. Played by Danny Lambert. 1-0 in favor of the Knights with 1:13 remaining in the first period of play. The Komets across the line for Hurd. He's in ahead of the puck. That'll be an offside, and we'll have a face-off in the neutral zone. There you see Kelly Hurd. Boy, what a couple of big, booming slap shots he had in the opening minutes of play.
He also had a big boomer in the second overtime against Atlanta, and has been stopped on everything. Hurd was a Detroit Red Wing draft pick, played at Michigan State. He was a teammate of Jim Cummins back in Adirondack in the AHL. They were a tough team for a couple of years, almost going the distance with Cummins and Adirondack.
That's the Calder Cup, the American League Championship, the Turner Cup, the International Hockey League Championship, and the Knights are one game away from taking it out of the display case in this very building and taking it home to Atlanta. Now here comes Colin Chin for the Komets. Up the far side, too far for Siplikov. With his speed, he catches up to it behind the net. Keeps it alive for Purvis. He bumped off the play by Sharon, but Siplikov throws it up the side of the net, and Bergeron quick to smother it with 44 seconds remaining in the first period. J.C. Bergeron made 27 saves on the 29 shots he faced in 2.5 periods of regulation and another 2 periods and a minute and a half of overtime. What a game he played, and when the winning goal went in, he didn't jump up and down and wave the stick. He flopped flat on his face, exhausted, as did everybody on the Knights team. Now a slap shot from the point, broken up off the skate of Cummins, and behind the play we get penalties called. Siplikov and Sharon got into it, and it appears they're both going to the box. Rob Martell making his first penalty calls of the first period. Or is it only Siplikov?
No penalties are being called here. He just whistled it down. Oh, they're going to their dressing room. Looks like a slashing call on both Siplikov and Sharon. Took over 19 minutes for the first penalty of the hockey game to be called.
19:24 of the first period, and indeed the first penalties. I think one a slash and one either a high stick or a cross check.
Top right of your screen, take a look. And look at the slash there by Siplikov. And a cross check on Sharon just prior to the slash. That's what brought on the slash by Siplikov.
So slashing Siplikov, cross-checking Sharon. And so we'll finish 36 seconds of the first period, 4-on-4. And the first minute 24 of the second period, 4-on-4. A little more room on the rink. Fort Wayne wins the draw, and Lambert sets up shop behind his net with 30 seconds left now in the first period. The Knights up 1-0. Up the far side, Colin Chin rolls it in as he takes the whack by Roaster. Now Dubois behind the net, bothered by Purvis. Purvis runs him into the glass. The puck loose along the near boards. Kept alive for Purvis. This shot off the side of the net, played by McDougal. I thought I heard a whistle from the crowd. Now the puck banged off the boards to center ice with 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. That's it. The first period is over, and the Atlanta Knights, on the goal by who else? Steve LaRouche, his 16th of the playoffs, lead in the hockey game 1-0. We'll have our first intermission and more after this timeout. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey. An indication that this series is over. Now we're in the second period, and look at those numbers, Mark Miller. The Knights have outscored the opponents 22-4 in second period play during the playoffs.
That's what we alluded to before the break, and the Knights have been awesome in the second period. They've had problems in the first period, especially in this building. We'll see if Steve LaRouche and the rest of his Atlanta Knights can continue their success in the second period. If they can do what they did in the second period in Game 4, they can blow this game wide open.
Peter Sidorkowicz played well in the first period in allowing just one shot, and that's certainly not his fault. He was helpless on a perfectly executed 2-on-1 after the play developed by Drulia. Now we have flip-flopped ends, as always. There you see Icy, who is a free agent mascot with the Golden Eagles of Salt Lake City, having folded and gone to Detroit, and he's come into Fort Wayne and kept this crowd at a fever pitch. The Knights now moving offensively to the right, Fort Wayne moving to the left. We're underway, and the Knights push it into the Fort Wayne zone. 4-on-4 in front of the netminders for another now, minute 15.
Siplikov and Sharon serving the rest of their 2-minute minors that occurred at the end of the first period.
Here's Ian Boyce, all right after crashing into the net. Now it's Davidson across the line, a weak shot deflected wide. The puck along the near boards for Davidson. He feeds it to the far point, and McDonald. He fired. No, lost it in the skates, and here comes Drulia. LaRouche trailing. Drulia all alone, cutting in front. Shot! Goal! He got tripped, but popped it over Sidorkowicz. What a rush up the rink by Drulia. And in the first 31 seconds of the second period, the Atlanta Knights now have a 2-0 lead. An unassisted goal for the captain. It's 2-0 Atlanta.
McDonald fumbles the puck at the point. You cannot make mistakes with number 20 coming at you. Watch Drulia. He's tripped and slashed by Sidorkowicz. From his keister, it goes off the shoulder of Sidorkowicz, who was trying to make the poke check, but finds its way into the net. Drulia just leaves McDonald in the dust. Trenowicz comes over and tries to make the play. Sidorkowicz goes to make the poke check. At that point, the puck's in the air. That was going over the net. Luckily, it didn't have a whole lot on it. Watch as this puck goes in the air. It's above the crossbar at one point. You see it right there, and it dives down underneath the crossbar and into the net. For Drulia, that is his 12th goal of the playoffs.
It hit the shoulder of Sidorkowicz and popped into the net. So the Knights, in just 31 seconds, take a 2-0 lead in the hockey game. That's a huge goal. Now Buchanan fires it in off the glass. Caroms to the far point. LaRouche rolls it in deep, and it's played by Lambert. Lambert had an electrifying start to the series. He's been a little quieter since. Now Hurd to the far point and Lucic. His shot, glove, battle off the side of the cage, and it's steered here to the near side for Jim Cummins and the Knights. Now it's played by McDougal. Across the line. Now Rochefort fires it back in. We're a minute and a half into the second period. We're back to 5-on-5 in front of the netminders. And now Colin Chin plays it for Sipnikov, broken up by Edgerton. Good play by the Knights at center ice as Edgy has it far circle in front for McDougal. He just missed on the swipe at the puck. Fort Wayne the other way. Chin to Purvis across the line. He got it tied up in the skates, was ahead of the play offside, and will pause. 2-0 Atlanta. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
So I called back home and said, Dad,
I'm considering a tattoo.
don't even think about it, I said.
But I already knew. Too late.
What could he say? I mean, he has one.
Yeah, but I was young and stupid and innocent.
Okay, so I'm not so innocent.
True friends deserve AT&T True Rewards. Introducing the only program that gives you points for frequent flyer miles and free AT&T minutes.
Your true boy.
Back in Fort Wayne, where the Atlanta Knights lead the Fort Wayne Komets 2-0. And who's been scoring? LaRouche and Drulia. That's the broken record that Bruce Boudreau will have nightmares over for at least a little while after this series is over. Although those two have been producing nightmares. Like Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi for all the IHL coaches. Now, big bump in the corner. The puck played by the Knights. Gretzky lost it at center. Trenowicz, bumped by Campo for Medill with Gretzky into the zone. Medill for Gretzky, broken up back to Medill, and he fired it wide. Now Medill, bumped from behind, shoots, saved. The rebound finally smothered by Sidorkowicz. A near miss for the Knights. Medill slams his stick to the rink. An incredible play in that he lost it, got it back, got it off a rebound. He got a couple of shots away at Sidorkowicz as the Knights almost made it 3-0 early in the second period. Watch this.
I'm very surprised Medill tried to make a pass there, as the 2-on-1 was played pretty well by Smith. And Medill does get the rebound, but I was a little surprised. Watch it from up top. Medill gets hooked, and you'll see the pass attempt broken up. Rather, that was Dupuis that was breaking up the 2-on-1. And Medill gets a couple of whacks at it. But Sidorkowicz pretty much had every angle covered after the play was botched.
The Mad Dog has not scored with anywhere near the prolific regularity he did in the regular season. However, his play overall up and down the rink has been very solid in the playoffs. He has been a real all-around hockey player in the postseason, where his critics in the past have said, well, he can play on the power play and score, but he doesn't bring much else to the rink. Here's Colin Chin for the Komets. For Purvis, far circle there on our left. Slap shot broken up left in front, cleared by Atlanta on a good play, and a penalty coming up. We'll have our first power play of the hockey game, an interference call against Atlanta. Fort Wayne will have the manpower advantage as Corey Cross is escorted to the box.
He'll sit 2 minutes for interference. Cross took that penalty after Medill had cleared the puck, but Cross did not realize that Medill played the puck here. Watch the play in front as they let Purvis skate around, deflected by Gretzky, and now watch Medill grab the puck, and there was the dump. Cross at that point did not realize that the puck was out of harm's way.
So Cross sits 2 minutes for interference at the 2:35 mark into the second period. John Paris has the penalty killers out there for the Atlanta Knights. And the penalty killers have done a brilliant job. Fort Wayne in this series is 4 for 27.
They were 3 for 10 back in Game 4. A lot of those goals coming on the major penalty that Cummins took.
Now Lambert fires for the goal! Deflected in front. And the Komets get the power play just 10 seconds into it and score the goal. It's now 2-1. Lambert let it go. It may have been deflected, or it may have been just a screen and all the way through. Whatever, it's 2-1. The Atlanta lead has been cut in half, and Boudreau shakes his head in appreciation of this one.
Definitely deflected, but by who? I'm not sure. It looks like from that angle that it may have been Collins, Chin, or Purvis that deflected. Watch Chin out in front of the net. Siplikov, rather. Boy, you still can't tell from that angle.
No idea. Maybe we can see it from here. Oh, it hit Buchanan.
Buchanan now has 5 goals. The only problem is that they've all been deflected as he's banging in front.
That's a tough break because he was just right there trying to do his job. So it's deflected in off of Bucky in front as he was trying to tie up at the same time both Chin and Siplikov in front of the net. We resume play. Now 2-1. The power play goal for the Komets. The Knights off the draw, dump it in. Sidorkiewicz leads it toward Dupuis.
They give it to Chin.
The Chin gets a break. Purvis and Lambert will get the assists on the goal. Time of the goal, 2:46 into the period. Now the puck played by the Komets in the Atlanta zone. The Knights flip it ahead. Trulier all tied up. And now it's Kelly Hurd off the skate of Rivers. Pushed back in, and now Trulier looks for the play. Ahead to Jason Rupp. Up the near board, broken up, and now LaRouche has it across the line with Rivers. LaRouche in deep to Rivers. His play broken up on a good back check by Kelly Hurd. And the puck played by Hurd. Left for Rivers at the point. A slap shot just over the crossbar. Played by Trulia. Behind the net, LaRouche. Tried to push it in front for Rupp. Broken up. Now she gets it back. Tied up by Dupuis. And dumped by Dupuis. A penalty coming up on the Komets. Dupuis will go to the box. And when we come back, we'll have an Atlanta power play after this. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
So when I turn the key, it sounds like my starter is going bad. So I figured since I heard about AutoZone, it was a good place to try as any, right? But get this. I go in there to buy a starter. The guy tells me we need to test my old one first just to make sure that's not the problem. It turns out that it's the solenoid switch. That one little test saved me a big headache. You know, that AutoZone's all right. And when you get service like that, I mean, you don't forget it.
Take a look at the penalty from the reverse angle.
LaRouche tries to stuff it out in front, and then as he plays his own rebound, he's tripped right there. You see the stick underneath the leg. So now the Knights will have their first power play of the hockey game. In Game 4, the Knights were 4 for 5 with the man advantage.
For the playoffs, 28% on the power play. Now the puck dumped by Fort Wayne. All the way down, Devin Edgerton plays it. We're 4 minutes into the second period. Atlanta leading 2-1. Now McDougal taken down. Again, he's playing on a bum wheel. I'm surprised he's out there on the power play. He's got a bad leg, and now he's slowly getting back to the bench. Now the play by Edgerton as Colin Chin throws a body at Dubois. And Edgy. As you see, Fort Wayne penalty killing at 77.5% during the playoffs. And they dump it all the way down. Funny bounce. Bergeron leaves it for Jeff Medill. Now Medill out of his zone, poked at the red line, but played by Dubois on the follow. He fires it in. Sidorkiewicz lets it go to the far side where LaRouche has it. Mushy tried to feed it, gets it to the deep slot, and Dubois off the skate. It's clear to center right.
Good play by Edgerton backing up Dubois to prevent a breakaway by Fort Wayne.
Now Danny Lambert has a little time, a little room, and it caroms off the glass to center where Bucky Buchanan plays it ahead to Jason Rupp. Now Ruffles sheds a check, carries into the zone, has it along the near board, looks for the play. At the circle, side of the cage, LaRouche, far side, and Drulia at the circle, looking for the play. Battle in front. Mushy has it to Drulia. Far circle, shot wide. Comes here to Buchanan near board. Bucky looking for the play. Off the side of the net. In the corner, it's Ruff. Ruffles, leaves it for LaRouche. Back to Ruff. Near circle, moving in, around a check. Looks for the play, behind the net. Ruffles steps in front, lost it. LaRouche on the follow, tied up by Davidson. They battle for the puck behind the net. Ruffles keeps it alive for Drulia to the near side. Kept it at the point by Rivers on a good play. Dodges the check from Boyce, carries in deep. Pushed into the boards by Boyce, oh my! And the Komets throw it all the way down. Now the penalty's over. We're back to 5-on-5 in front of the netminders. And the Komets have gotten a little life with that goal. They're starting to hit everything they can find in a black jersey. Given up, Smith shoots with Darren Smith right in front to save, and we'll pause. It's 2-1 Atlanta. Back in 30 seconds. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
Hi, I'm Kyle Petty. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Another race car driver, another motor oil. Sure, I get paid to do this. But money's not everything. Doing things right is everything. That's why Bobby Hamilton and I race with Kendall Oil. It gives us a better shot at winning. Kendall can give you an edge, too. Do it right with Kendall and your engine can last longer. Look, I wouldn't if it worked. I earned a living racing parts. Wow. Kendall Motor Oil. Hey, man, bye.
Mark Miller and Ken double back in Fort Wayne. For the benefit of our radio audience, we'll pause right now 15 seconds for station identification. You're listening to the Atlanta Knights Radio Network. For television, there you have the panoramic view of the War Memorial Coliseum. And it's getting real noisy in here again, Mark.
Once this team starts hitting, their fans come alive.
Now Campo into the zone for the Knights. Throws it wide behind the net. E. Dupuis picks it up. Headman's to center, picked off by Brent Gretzky. And a good hit by Norman Rochefort to break up Fort Wayne's rush out of their zone. Now Dubois back to Rochefort in his own end. Spins from the check by Colin Chin and dumps it to center right. Tracked down by Dupuis. He hit Purvis on the backside. John turns around and throws it behind the Atlanta net down to our left. 2-1 in favor of the Knights. 13:20 to go, second period. Pass to center ice, broken up, taken back by Brent Gretzky. Taken away by Siplakov. He scores! A costly turnover. It's 2-2. That's a tough one to take for the Atlanta Knights, as they put it right on the stick of the talented Vladimir Siplakov, and he ties the game.
Gretzky does not get help there from Rochefort as he was looking for some sort of a screen, has his pocket picked, and Siplakov makes a great move there on J.C. Bergeron. For Siplakov, his sixth goal of the playoffs. Watch again as Gretzky has it taken out the stick. You don't want to be skating in front when there is no defenseman between yourself and the net.
And now they play that Russian music that gets this crowd all fired up here as Vladimir Siplakov ties the hockey game. The time of that goal came at 6:47 of the second period. Now Fort Wayne forechecking. Grant Richardson slap shot wide. The rebound right in front, played by Eric Charon. Up the far side, here comes Devin Edgerton. Could not get around McDonald, who spears him. The puck goes to the corner. They battle for it along the boards, and it's picked off by Dave Smith. He spins it around out of the zone, played at center by Charon. So the Atlanta Knights' 2-0 lead has been erased with a couple of Fort Wayne goals. The two goals scored within 4 minutes of each other. Now the puck played behind the Fort Wayne net. Big bump. There's Darren Smith, hit Jim Cummings. And the Komets' Kevin McDonald steers it all the way down. Back down by Bucky Buchanan. Now he's got a beach ball on the rink. The fans boo as they should. Some idiots let a beach ball loose out there. They battle along the near boards. We get a quick whistle with a couple of players down. 12:08 to go, and we'll pause. We're tied at 2 in Fort Wayne. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
But Frugal Auto sure has a lot of famous athletes as spokespersons. Greg Olson, Norm Johnson, Manon Rhéaume, Homer Gibbons.
Adam Keefe, Tracy Eden, and you.
Well, I'm honored, but I'm not a famous athlete. Why am I in this commercial?
Because we like you. Besides, he was the only one available.
McFrugal Auto Rental, America's discount neighborhood car rental company.
Mark Miller and Ken Double back in Fort Wayne. The beach ball has been taken out of the building. It's 2-2, 8 minutes into the second period. Atlanta with the puck in their own zone. Sean Rivers to Buchanan. Long pass up the near side, tipped by Trulia, and it sails into the crowd. We got a whistle, and we'll have a face-off as the Fort Wayne Komets do not say die. There was a feeling in the Atlanta camp that a lead, a good lead, 2, 3, 4 goals, and Fort Wayne would fall over. But this team is as scrappy as they come.
You cannot let them get back into the game, and the giveaway by Gretzky in front of the net are plays that you cannot make when you have a lead against Fort Wayne. To get them to quit, you have to force them to quit, and do that by hitting and keep digging. You cannot make silly mistakes against this Komet hockey club.
Now the puck played by Ian Boyce. Oh, he left it for Hurd, who skated right past it. Jason Ruff into the zone, lost the puck. Drulia gets it back. Ruff lost his stick as well, could not follow on the play. Now LaRouche bumping in the corner with Chin. Drulia keeps it alive for Mushy behind the net. For Drulia off the side of the cage, bothered by Ian Boyce. Now they battle behind the net. Jason Ruff picks up the puck. Now cheating in. Rivers a shot. Deflected just wide. Now Drulia leaves it behind the net. Now LaRouche, far corner. Threw it in front, nobody home.
Rivers started cutting in from the point. The pass went behind both Rivers and Jason Ruff.
The Knights were putting on a little pressure as we near the 11-minute mark left in the second period, and here's Rivers on the fly. A hit Campo's skate, and now here comes Siplikov. Across the line with Sharon. Poked off his stick, taken down, no call. Fans wanted a trip, and Martel lets it go. Now Dupuis bangs a Knight. Looks for the puck in front for Purvis. Purvis swept out of there by Rivers. Now here's Medill. He gains the red line. Medill trying to get around Trentowitz. He does. Medill one-handed. Could not push it in front. And Sidorkowitz smothers it, and Will Palm. We're tied at 2, and it's heating up in Fort Wayne. Back in 30 seconds, this is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
Sherwin-Williams. Look what's new at Sherwin-Williams. Want a new coat of paint at a great price? Style Perfect Interior Flat is on sale, $9.99 a gallon. Need a paint that really holds up against stains? Try new Everclean. How about wallpaper? Thousands of the newest patterns are on sale. It's all here, plus the friendly advice you need at your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Sherwin-Williams New Look Sale. Come in for a better look. Sherwin-Williams.
Sean Rivers getting the much-deserved toweling off as he has played a spectacular final series after sitting out Game 1. Now Fort Wayne wins the face-off in their own zone. They feed it to Dave Smith, moving offensively to the left to Big Mac Mittendorf. He rolls it into the zone, broken up by Medill to center ice. They dump it back in, and in so doing, dump it right over the glass into the crowd and a souvenir as we lose a puck, gain a face-off, and give you fans a chance to remember that it's time to think even now about next year. Season tickets, and look, you can save up to 20% on full season tickets and 10% on the 20-game power play package for next year's Atlanta Knights hockey. Call 525-8900.
Atlanta right now reeling a little bit. Fort Wayne putting on all kinds of pressure. The Knights with just 2 shots on goal in this second period.
Now the puck played by Torrey Cross. He sheds the check from Mittendorf and starts up the rink. Across the line, Tanguay bursting in all alone. Shot, skate, save, and a great one by Sidorkowitz. Tango had him dead to rights all alone, but Sidorkowitz got a skate on him. Now Mittendorf the other way, lost it, and the Knights bang it to center. Now Tanguay across the line, could not control. Dupuis with Tanguay, sends it to center ice. Cross with a big check, dumped Colin Chin, and the Knights play the puck. Long feed past Dubois. Dumped back in by Fort Wayne, and Torrey Cross has it. Off the near glass, McDougal plays it at center ice. Here's Billy with Cummins. His wrist got over the crossbar. Off the glass, Medill from a bad angle, sent it behind the net. Played now by John Purvis. Purvis 2 times, sends it off the side of the cage to Trentowitz. Up the far side, Siplikov. He just got the game tire a few minutes ago. He whistled one fly to the near pipe. Played along the near boards by Edgerton, could not get it past Purvis. It hit a stick along the far side, but cleared ahead by the Knights. Now McDougal tied up, just scoops it out of harm's way, where McDonald sends it back in. Now Dubois to Komets. Across the line, Komets. Drop pass, Edgerton rolls it in front. Dubois! Oh, he got the shot away, but could not get it on net as he was tied up by Davidson. Good play by the Knights. Here's Purvis, and the pass just a little too far. Behind the net, Cummins bumps him. Purvis still has it. Cummins has him tied up. It's loose in front, broken up, taken back by Boyce. Broken up by Edgerton. He's hooked by Boyce, but sends the puck to center ice. Lambert plays it back into the Atlanta zone with a Knights feed Truly. He pushes it across the line for McDougal. McDougal all alone. Atlanta changing lines. Sends it up and out of the zone as his shot went wide. And now we get a whistle. A little pushing and shoving after the play as Lambert and McDougal glare at each other. A look at Martin Tanguay on the Atlanta bench, who with that burst of speed left everybody in the dust, but could not quite scoot it behind Sidorkowicz.
Came very close to giving the Knights the lead. Corey Cross jumps in the play, flips the cue pass to Tanguay. Tanguay had to rush to catch up, but Sidorkowicz just is able to get the kick save on that. If Tanguay gets this backhand up in the air, he has the goal. Watch Martin Tanguay. Reminds you of a player we watched the other night with those big bursts of speed, Pavel Bure. Martin Tanguay has that kind of speed. If he can get the rest of his tools in the toolbox, he'll be an NHL player.
We've had a couple of players sent to the penalty box. Indeed, McDougal and Lambert will each sit a couple of minutes. I'm going to guess it's roughing.
Cross-checking is the penalty.
And so once again, we'll skate 4-on-4 in front of the netminders. A lot of room on the rink now, tied at 2. 8:15 to go, second period of play. Now the puck in the Atlanta zone, played by Jeff Buchanan to LaRouche, who sends it ahead to Truly. His drop pass to Sean Rivers, and he reloads the offensive gun. The Knights led 2-0. These last two games have been a tribute to comeback hockey. Here's Drulia in behind the net, ripped out by Fredowitz. What a hit on Stan there. He's up and all right. We head back the other way. Now the Komets into the zone. It's Kelly Hurd around Buchanan. Bump centers. It's popped up over the net. Bergeron steers it behind the cage. And it's played now by Stan Drulia. 7.5 minutes to go. Second period, tied at 2. 1:05 left on the coincidental minor penalties. Now Grant Richardson into the attack zone. Richardson rolls it wide of the net to Dave Smith, far side. He tips it in deep, played by LaRouche. Up the far boards, Jason Ruff just tips it into the Fort Wayne zone. And Kevin McDonald beats Grant Richardson. Number 4, Richardson gains the red line, rolls it on net. Bergeron leaves it for Corey Cross. Off by Darren Smith, who cut off his exit to the far side. Dave Smith trying to play the puck. It's tied up and we'll pause. Tied at 2, back in 30 seconds. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
What's cool, what's hot, and looks awesome on you? WCW wear. That's right. We're going to make you look good with the new official WCW wear.
This stuff is excellent. Oh, yeah.
We've got T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, shirts, and more. Cool clothes for all ages. WCW wear.
Where?
Right here. To order your WCW wear, get the catalog by calling toll-free 1-800-4WCW now.
Back at the Coliseum, tied at 2, and the Komets on a near miss. Watch this thing pop right up in the crease.
4-on-4 opportunity. The centering pass by Kelly Hurd. And Bergeron's got to swat it with a stick as it popped up in the air.
We resume action, 4-on-4 in front of the netminders for another 25 seconds. Devin Edgerton playing the puck up the far side, the left wing boards. Headman's to Dubois. Across the line to Edgerton. His slap shot deflected. Goes behind the net, and then we get a whistle. And we'll have a face-off coming up with 6:43 to go in the second period. There you see Eric Dubois, the outstanding defenseman for the Atlanta Knights. And we'll talk about defensive play and more during the intermission with that guy, Scotty Gordon, the third goaltender, former NHLer, former Olympian. And he'll be our guest. We'll talk about the game and have the scoring highlights, which at this point will be dominated by Fort Wayne, depending on what should happen in the remaining 6:43 in this period.
Second period started out well for Atlanta with Drulia's goal. But Then it's been all Fort Wayne since the 31-second mark of the period.
Now the Knights putting on some pressure, trying to feed the puck to the point. It's played by Tanguay. Tanguay along the far boards for Ruff. Ruffles flips it in front. Dubois cheating in. Could not get that in time. Fedorowicz clears. Tanguay throws it behind the net. Played by Guy Dupuis. Now we're back to 5-on-5 in front of the netminders. Nearing the 6-minute mark left in the second period. 2-2 tie in the hockey game in Fort Wayne. Game 5 with the Knights leading 3-1. A chance to win the Turner Cup tonight. Now Royster fell down. Fortunately, no Fort Wayne Komets real close to forecheck. The Knights sent it to center ice, and here's Billy McDougal. McDougal bothered by Lambert, no call, and the Komets come the other way. Across the line, Siplikov on the fly, stops, moves to the center of the rink, dodges a check from Rivers, gets another dodge, and then to Lambert and a goal! What a play by Siplikov as Lambert scores at 3-2 Komets. They turned Rivers inside out, and Lambert got the puck high over Bergeron. The Komets lead in the hockey game.
You cannot play this man with the stick. Rivers never tries to put the body on him. He keeps trying to steal the puck. It's not going to work with that man. Lambert picks the shelf. It's 3-2 Fort Wayne.
And as it was for the Knights the other night, it is for the Komets. Trailing, they score, in this case, 3 unanswered goals to take the lead. And I'll tell you, even Siplikov had our cameraman spun inside out with those moves in front of the net. A great play by the talented Russian.
And right off of this, look at the line that Fort Wayne comes out with. Fletcher, Dave, and Darren Smith. They get the lead, and they're going to want to do some banging now.
Now we'll see what kind of a message they send out. At the same time, the Knights have a banger in Cummins out there, along with Gretzky and Edgerton. Gretzky and Edgerton supply a little speed. Cummins no slouch in that category either. And see if this proves costly for the Komets. Atlanta the other way to Gretzky. Throws it in front, but it was behind Cummins. Now along the far side, Fletcher steers it to center ice. Played now by Atlanta's Eric Sharon. Now the Knights playing come-from-behind hockey, and a second period in which the Knights have dominated in play throughout the playoffs has belonged to the Komets.
The Knights have quit hitting here in the second period. They have to go back to the forechecking style.
Now it's rolled in front, nobody home. Richardson plays the puck. Ahead to Darren Smith. His pass broken up. He gets it back at center ice and sends it behind the net. Now Dubois steers it here to the near side. A little room for Cummins. Now Cummins to the blue line. Dumps it in. Jason Ruff out there. Sidorkiewicz leaves it for the defense and Terry Lucet. Up the far side, tipped ahead, and here comes Lee Davidson. Davidson had a couple of goals early in the series. Been somewhat quiet since as the Komets forecheck. They leave it in front. A shot from a bad angle, broken up, and Bergeron hangs on and will pause. 4.5 minutes to go. Second period, 3-2 Fort Wayne. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
In Japan, they can't get enough of American products. They love our clothes, music, food, even our sports. And I imagine when they find out that here in the U.S., an Olds Cutlass Supreme Special Edition costs over $2,000 less than a Honda Accord LX, they'll want that too. So do the Japanese thing. Buy American. It's your money. See your local Oldsmobile retailer.
There you see the score. Fort Wayne in front, 3-2. They win the draw and push it behind the Atlanta net where Rochefort steers it around the near side. Kept it at the point. A shot, a good save there by Bergeron. And the Knights steer it to center ice, and here comes LaRouche. Could not catch up to the puck, played instead by Lambert. And now the Komets across the line, as Hurd was two-time, couldn't play the puck, and Dubois sends it up the far side. Pushed ahead by Jason Ruff into the Komet zone. And Sidorkiewicz plays it, no icing. Flipped up the far side to Lucet. Now played by Kelly Hurd. Far side points. Try to feed it back to Hurd, taken away by Rivers, and the puck comes to LaRouche onside. Crosses the line. They rule it played by a high stick. And look at the shots on goal in the second period. The Komets 8, the Knights 5, as we head back down the other way for a face-off after the stick above the shoulder violation by the Atlanta Knights.
You want to to get a hello into all the night staff watching at Jackson Jill. Big crew over there at one of the Atlanta Knights' favorite stops, at least for the office staff after the hockey game.
Where are the wives?
Wives are all at Frankie's at the Prado watching.
We've got the city covered on all points. Now off the draw, Atlanta pushes it all the way down the rink. And it's played by Tredowitz. Up the far side, Dupuis. Ahead to Chin. To Siplikov. Lost it at the line. Played by Buchanan. Now Bucky out of his own zone. His speed to Medill. Played across the line. Medill got there first. Out of that dog. Lost it. He and Tredowitz tie up. The Knights center it in front behind Campo. A tip at the line, and Purvis couldn't gain the possession of the puck, so the Knights dump it back in. Now Dupuis sends it up the near side, and here's Siplikov. Siplikov into the zone. Leaves it for Purvis. Oh, what a collision at center as Purvis shot knocked down by Buchanan. Purvis back with it right through the goal mouth, and a penalty coming up on Tanguay as he dropped Chin. We got a whistle. And it'll be a tripping call on Martin Tanguay. He can't believe it. He'll go to the box, and the Komets are going on a power play. The last time they had a power play, it took them all of 10 seconds to get their first goal of the game.
Good pressure by Fort Wayne there, but Jeff Medill did what you need to do against Siplikov, and that's get a body on him. Buchanan lost the puck in front, and right there you see Tanguay dumped Chin. Tough call to take it that the pass was going to Chin. It looked like Tanguay made a pretty good defensive play, but tripping nonetheless. And now Fort Wayne has their second power play of the hockey game.
And they have the lead in the hockey game, 3-2. There you see Colin Chin unceremoniously dumped off the side of the cage, and he'll be ready to take the face-off out there with Purvis and Darren Smith on the power play, Lambert and Davidson on the points. The Knights' penalty killers are LaRouche, Edgerton, Dubois, and Sharon in front of J.C. Bergeron. Now the puck played by nobody off the draw. They battle for it, and now Edgerton is able to send it all the way down.
He was out there, so the Knights had two face-off men. Edgerton goes to the bench. He's replaced by Drulia.
Nearing the 2.5-minute mark left in the second period. 3-2 Komets. They've got a power play for another 1:40. Now the puck into the zone. Sharon fanned on it. Here's Colin Chin. Poked off his stick. Here to the far point, and Lambert. He lost it to LaRouche. And LaRouche leaves it for Drulia into the zone. Drulia one-on-one. Fires a shot broken up, and Sidorkiewicz gloves it and hangs on as the Atlanta Knights do what they've done well, and that is create opportunities while shorthanded. They've got 8 shorthanded goals during the playoffs, 4 of them against Fort Wayne, 3 of them in the first game.
And their only goal in Game 3 was shorthanded. As you see, LaRouche does a good job of tying up Lambert. Drulia just not enough steam to make a clear break. Tries to take a snapshot from the circle. Good deflection by Lee Davidson, a centerman, back on the point during the power play for Fort Wayne.
And with the save by Sidorkiewicz, the face-off deep in the Fort Wayne zone. LaRouche to take the draw with Chin.
You see Rochefort poised to take the shot if LaRouche can win this draw.
And the puck battled for as the Knights push it behind the net, and now the Komets will set up shop with 1:15 left on the power play. During the 2-minute mark left in the period. Here's Colin Chin, 3 men to the line. Stops at the near point and flips it behind the net. Bergeron flips it to the far side. Purvis can't control, and Trulia lost it to Purvis, but Buchanan following couldn't clear the zone. Darren Smith to Purvis, far circle. Tough break for the Knights there. They needed a clear. Now Purvis along the far boards leaves it for Chin. Chin for the deep slot. Lambert slap shot, save. The rebound. Purvis. Oh, what a save by J.C. Bergeron as he stuffed Purvis right in front of the net. Bergeron's best save of the hockey game, clearly on that play right there.
Purvis gets the puck all alone, right in between the hash marks. Watch, you'll see 44 coming to your screen. Right here, he gets the rebound all alone. Snap shot, big glove save there by JC.
Take another look at ice level.
Knights failed to clear. Shot from the point, A deflection by Purvis, and then he gets the rebound.
Going top shelf.
Point blank, and J.C. makes a big save.
Up there where they put the cookie jar, but he couldn't find it. J.C. Bergeron said, "You'll have none of that." Now the puck played by the Komets off the draw to Lambert. Along the near boards, here's Purvis, always trouble. Purvis, who had 2 goals in Game 4 for Lambert. His shot wide, the deep rebound of the far boards, and Davidson. Good play to keep it alive. Davidson feeds it cross ice. Purvis got it tied up in the skates, couldn't get a shot away. They've got Dave Smith in front of the net. They sent it cross ice for Davidson, cutting in from the point. Didn't quite connect. Now the puck played to Davidson, far circle, down to our left. In the circle to Dave Smith. Smith as the Knights play the box defensively. Back to the far point of Davidson. Takes the shot, moves in. Wrist shot, deflected twice, and Bergeron smothers it. It rolled slowly off the second deflection, would hit Rochford, and then Bergeron made the save.
Fort Wayne creates a tremendous amount of traffic in front of the net. Both Dave Smith and John Purvis in front of the net. Here you see Smith and Rochford battling. Lambert in there, Colin Chin in there. And you can see Purvis in between the hash marks. A lot of traffic by Fort Wayne in front of J.C. Bergeron.
There's John Purvis on the Fort Wayne bench. Now Big Mac Middendorf getting ready to take the draw with the diminutive Devin Edgerton. Tiny in comparison, seemingly, to Middendorf. The puck won to Richardson, near point. Richardson shot. Turned to the far point, McDonald. Right in front for Herder, goal! Greenway sitting on the bench. Bergeron victimized by the pinpoint passing of the Fort Wayne Komets.
Got a power play goal with 2 seconds after Tanguay gets out of the box. Great pass to Kelly Hurd. Bergeron has no chance. Now the Knights have to just get out of this period 4-2 and start working hard to prevent a Game 6 on Wednesday.
These Comet fans on fire as Kelly Hurd finally scores. He's been frustrated all series, and particularly early on in this hockey game when he had, in the opening couple of minutes, a couple of pretty good scoring opportunities. Now the puck to the far point for Eric Sharon. He fires, deflected in front, loose in front, and steered out of there by Sidorkowicz. Now Colin Chin plays the puck ahead of it and out of the zone. Onside Smith, and he's in all alone and fired it wide. I thought maybe there'd be an offside whistle there. Now the puck played by Collington. The Komets are flying right now. Comes here to the near point and Richardson. Along the near boards, Purvis. Trying to get around Sharon to Chin. A backhand shot, a save, and the rebound. Goes wide. A little room for Dubois. Dubois sends it all the way down. And we got a whistle, and we got Dave Smith going at it with Billy McDougall. And Purvis takes a pop at Sharon. Now McDonald in on Cummins, and here we go. We've got them paired off. McDonald and Cummings appear to be the two that really want to go at it now. And at this point, Rob Martell will have some penalties to dish out. Dubois, being held by Colin Chin, wants a piece of somebody. Dave Smith. Now they finally get McDonald and Cummins separated. Martell, the referee, helping out there, as he should, when 3 or 4 couples square off to go at it. And now we'll see how the penalties get divvied up here. We've said it before, agitation and intimidation, and the Komets play that kind of game and play it well in their home building. As Rob Martell talked to the official scorer to dish out the penalties here. 5 seconds left in the second period. And outside of Stan Drulia's goal that made it 2-0, it's been all Fort Wayne. They've scored 4 in a row. And I gotta tell you, there's a Fort Wayne fan down below us, about 6 or 8 rows. And this guy obviously has a very short memory, because when they scored the fourth goal, he turned and looked up, as he has all through the 3 games played in Fort Wayne when the Komets scored, to kind of rub it in a little bit. But he doesn't recall what happened when the Komets had a 5-goal lead in a hockey game.
Well, Atlanta Knights are definitely not out of this hockey game by any stretch of the imagination.
But they indeed have quit hitting.
It's amazing. The Atlanta Knights were worried about the first 10 minutes where they've struggled in this building. They played a remarkable first period and then sat down in the second period and quit doing the things that were effective in the first period. The Atlanta Knights have to hit to be effective.
We have made that comment going all the way back to October when the season started, that any time the team struggled, most of the struggles could be pinpointed directly to a lack of contact. And again, not that it needs to be dirty, just good physical, body-on-body, forechecking and hitting to stop the other team from gaining any kind of momentum. And now the Fort Wayne Komets certainly have it. 4 goals in a row. And they not only got back in the game, they have the lead in the hockey game, hoping to push it to Atlanta for a Game 6.
You look down that bench, you had Steve Fletcher there. He's not made a body check the whole night. I don't know if the Atlanta Knights are maybe a little intimidated by Fletcher being out there and looking over their shoulder, but he has not done much hitting at all. As you see, referee Rob Martell explain to both captains, Colin Shin and Stan Drulia, about the penalties that are being handed to both the Atlanta Knights and Fort Wayne Komets.
So we'll wait for the announcement on the penalties. McDougal gets 2 minutes for roughing all of these penalties at 19:55. McDonald gets a couple minutes for roughing.
McDougal, Cummins, McDonald, and I believe it was Smith was the other player in there that all are going to get 2 minutes each for roughing. And an additional penalty to Smith, 2 minutes for cross-checking. So the Atlanta Knights come out of this with a power play.
The Knights get a break. Out of all that, a power play ensues for Atlanta. Bruce Boudreau not real happy with that turn of events. With 5 seconds left in the period, not much for the Knights to do right off the get-go, but they'll have an opportunity when the third period gets underway to make something happen with the manpower advantage in the opening minutes. Chin and LaRouche take the draw. Lambert plays the puck, and that's it. This period is over. And now John Parrish has another one of those magical Newt Rockne-like intermission speeches. Dig it out. Let's hope he didn't waste it all during the first intermission on Thursday. We'll have our second intermission after we take this time out. The Komets lead the Knights 4-2. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey. Mark Miller and Ken Double. We're back in Fort Wayne. The Komets leading in the hockey game 4-2. 20 minutes of hockey left in Game 5, unless it's like Game 4, in which there would be about 60 minutes of hockey left.
Well, that's the first thing the Knights have to look forward to, and that's tying this up and maybe putting it in overtime. But the Knights certainly need to get a quick one. They have 1:56 left on a penalty to Dave Smith. His extra cross-checking penalty, the difference in that little skirmish. And the Knights really need to score on this power play. 1, to quiet this crowd, and 2, to get themselves back in the hockey game.
And also get Fort Wayne thinking, uh-oh, here it comes again. Have the Komets enough in front of Peter Sidorkiewicz to hang on to this lead? It's a veteran team, a smart team, but definitely, in spite of all their comeback efforts and all their toughness, they don't have the speed. If the Knights turn it up and play their game, as proven, even a 5-goal lead wasn't safe in Game 4. There you see the Komets penalty box. Darren and Dave Smith in there, the Knights in there with McDougal rocking back and forth, and Jim Cummins. And there is the hero of Game 4, who got the first goal of Game 5, Steve LaRouche. He'll be out there with Ruff and Drulia, Edgerton and Dubois on the back line. The power play unit for John Parrish Jr. and the Atlanta Knights. Going against Lucic, Davidson, the omnipresent Ian Boyce, and also Danny Lambert. There's Lee Davidson of the Fort Wayne Komets. And the building dressed in orange. Comet orange is everywhere as the draw is won by Atlanta. Dubois has it at his own blue line. Feeds Edgerton, and the Knights start the play. 20 minutes left of Game 5. The Knights with a 3-1 lead coming in. Lose it. It's dumped all the way down, and Edgerton starts the play now from behind his own net. On the fly, Dubois just too far for LaRouche. As Stork will have to play it, that wipes out the icing call. The puck along the far boards, played by the Knights for Truly, a far circle. Off his stick, and Davidson clears it all the way down. The old radio and ID will get it to you as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, Devin Edgerton starts the play. Moving offensively to the left. Dubois up the near side, dodges Purvis and pushes it in. Broken up by the Komets. Now Edgy dumps it in. The Knights had to clear out to be onside. Left at the point for Drulia. Drulia, bothered by Chin. Battle of wills there. Drulia keeps it alive along the boards. Now for Medill. His shot deflected wide. LaRouche on a near miss there. And then it's cleared by Purvis. 40 seconds on the power play. We're a minute 15 into the third period. 4-2 Fort Wayne. The Knights with a man advantage. Tip at the center. Dupuis breaks it up. And the Knights having trouble getting anything started on this power play in the opening minutes. Here comes Dubois with Gretzky left at the point, nobody home. 20 seconds left. One last rush for the Atlanta Knights. Rivers feeds it up the far side of Medill. Gains the red line and pushes it in. Tanguay giving chase. Sidorkiewicz figures, I'm going to smother this one. As Tanguay gets dumped. 8 seconds left on the penalty, and we'll pause for the benefit of our radio audience. 15 seconds for station identification. This is the Atlanta Knights Radio Network. A look at John Burns Jr. behind the bench. Concerned, confident, I'm sure, but concerned. And again, wouldn't you have enjoyed being a little mouse in the locker room to hear what John might have had to say to the Atlanta Knights in that intermission speech?
He definitely was not happy with the performance that Atlanta had in the second period. Drulia scored, and the Knights seemed to maybe get a bit too confident.
Stop doing the things that got them here. At the same time, Harris is so confident and so positive in the way he deals with the team. Now off the draw, slap shot, Kerms wide and out of the zone. The penalty over. We're back to 5-on-5 in front of the goalies. And the puck played by Brent Gretzky. Drop pass, Rivers. Near side, Buchanan. He reaches over, tips it in. And they're going to rule icing here. And as they do, we'll pause. We'll have more hockey from Fort Wayne in 30 seconds. The Komets lead by 2. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
Kroger's been a part of the neighborhood for a long time. We've helped with hundreds of Sunday mornings, thousands of supper times, and goodness knows how many late-night snacks. After all these years in Atlanta, we've made some wonderful friends.
We're back in Fort Wayne. 4-2, the Komets lead. With Mark Miller, Ken Double with you. The Knights trying to come back now as they did in Game 4. Although the mountain to climb isn't quite so high, but time is soon going to be a factor. Here's Kerry Lucic. He throws a shot in front, smothered by J.C. Bergeron, and we'll have another face-off. Power plays not nearly the factor in this game as they were in Game 4. There have only been 4 throughout the hockey game.
But that first power play Fort Wayne proved to be very costly, as that's what really brought them back into the hockey game.
At the same time, in Game 4, there were 15 power play opportunities, 10 of them for the Komets, 5 for the Knights, and the Knights scored 4 of their goals with the man advantage. Now the puck played by Atlanta in their own zone. They can't clear it. Pass Lucic. Lucic in front for Davidson. A shot. Stick save Bergeron. Davidson bothered, had to rush it just a little bit. Now played by LaRouche. Here comes Mushy up the far side to the red line. He fires it in. Edgerton will go to the bench. Trulia replaces him to complete the leader line. LaRouche, Trulia, and Ruff. The puck played by the Komets. Lee Davidson to the line. Ian Boyce, all alone, tried to feed it back for Hurd as Buchanan was zeroing in for the hit. No play there. Now the puck kicked by Buchanan to the near side. John Rivers tips it to center. Jason Ruff has it. Bothered by Davidson. Ruff gains the red line. Feeds Trulia. Trulia dodges a check and then gets hit from behind and dumps the puck behind the net. Where Sidorkiewicz feeds Lucy. To Lambert in the near corner. Off the glass. To center ice. And played by Sharon. Or the Komets might have had a 2-on-1. As Sharon lost it with McDougal right at the line to get it offsides, and will pause. 4-2 Komets. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
First came Long John Silver's popcorn shrimp, and America loved it. Now the critics are raving about our delicious new all-white meat popcorn chicken in Popcorn 2. For a limited time, try our crispy new popcorn chicken mini fillets or our famous popcorn shrimp, just $1.39 a quarter pound. Now at Long John Silver's counters and drive-thrus near you, so go popcorn. Rated fun for family audiences.
3 minutes and 20 seconds into the third period. The Komets leading 4-2. The penalty box empty as Bill McDougal tries to gain the line. Couldn't. The Komets clear it back to the Atlanta end, and Sharon carries up the rink. He dumps it in. Played by Colin Chin deep in his own zone. Up the far side, forechecking Sharon, puts it past Darren Smith, but the Komets then dump it all the way down. The next goal, huge. Either the Knights can get it and gain a little momentum, or Fort Wayne gets it and a 3-goal lead. Now Cummins intercepts off the turnover. Cummins into the zone. McDougal cruising, couldn't get there. Edgerton has it, near circle, slap shot, save behind the net. McDougal couldn't play it. Chase for the puck. Chin steers it up the near side. Purvis takes a bump from Cummins. The puck to Rivers. He bangs it off the near boards behind the net. Sidorkiewicz steers it out of the way of McDougal. Now McDougal near boards. Dodges the check from Chin. Has a little room. Moving in front. Shot. Save. Steered out of there on a good play by Sidorkiewicz. We got a whistle. And we'll have a face-off. No penalty. The net was bumped with McDougal colliding. And the referee blows the play dead. And here you have another look.
Watch Bill McDougal cut in front. Thought for a minute he might have had the 5-hole. He takes a big pop from Richardson.
And watch Sidorkiewicz kick this one out and literally kick it out of harm's way. Boy, he could have been hurt. He had his leg pinned just a little bit on that collision. There you see Billy McDougal. Got the Knights off to a roaring start in the playoffs with that opening game 4-goal performance against Milwaukee in Series 1. The Knights win the draw to Dubois. Slap shot just wide of the near post. Cairns to big Steve Fletcher, 77. Ahead to Middendorf, who dumps it in. Gloved by the netminder, and Bergeron hangs on with Dave Smith parked on the doorstep as Middendorf and Dubois push and shove. Fletcher in there quickly. The linesmen separate the bodies. Linesman fell down. Gets the Bronx cheer from the fans. Cooler heads prevail. And we'll have a face-off deep in the Atlanta zone. For the benefit of our radio audience, down to our right. The near circle as they picture the rink in their mind's eye. 15:32 to go in the hockey game. 4-2 Komets.
Rob Martell is going to issue penalties to Max Mittendorf and Eric Dubois, coincidental minors here. He's trying to perhaps stop some of the extracurriculars that Fort Wayne likes to do so much.
And again, just judging from overall team speed, 4-on-4 in general would favor the Atlanta Knights, although it's proved to be somewhat fruitless so far in this playoff game. There you see Middendorf, Rob Martell, the referee, called a good game here. As now, these Fort Wayne fans anticipate that maybe their heroes will force Game 6 back in Atlanta on Wednesday. Now the puck played by the Komets. To the near point, Lucic. Davidson to the net. The shot broken up, but it goes to Hurd. Slap shot just wide on the far post, and it caroms all the way down the rink. Hurd got all of that one and just missed the far right. Now the Komets and Danny Lambert, who can also fire the biscuit, starts the play. pass past Lucic to Rivers. Rivers takes a bump. Hurd takes the puck. Flips it in front, played by Lambert. 5 minutes into the third period. 4-2 Fort Wayne. A minute and a half left on the Coincidental Miners. Here's Davidson crisscrossing with Hurd. Broken up by the Knights. Rivers takes the puck in his own zone, moving offensively to the left. The red line, the blue line near side, around a check to the circle. Bad angle. Slap shot went wide. Kept in at the point by Buchanan. No. As he dumps it in, the Knights will have to clear the zone. Fort Wayne out of their end with it. It's Lambert. Feeds Dave Smith at the blue line. Knocked off his stick. Played by Lucic. Back to the line and Ian Boyce. Onside Dave Smith. Broken up by Buchanan. McDougal trying to make a play. Into the corner it goes. Down to our right near side. A battle for the puck. Good job by Dave Smith. Keeps it alive for Boyce. Now McDonald at the point. A slap shot. Loose in front. Played here to the near side. Buchanan hasn't got a stick. Now Boyce behind the net. Looking for the play. Boyce tipped off his stick and clear to center ice. He gets it back, dumps it in, and Buchanan still has no stick. Now Norman Rochford. Lost it to Boyce. Pushed here to the near side. Play to the point. McDonald shot. Stick save. Buchanan still hasn't got a stick. Now the Knights need to either ice it or do something. They give it up. McDonald cruising in. Throws it behind the net. Rochford steers it up the far side. They still haven't got a stick, but now Tanguay has the puck. Tango fires it ahead. McDougal won't be able to play it, but the Knights can at least change defensemen and get two defenders out there with a stick. Here's Ferguson deep. Poke check by Rivers. Now Sharon. Bothered there. The puck behind the net. Good play by Edgerton. Adams. Three players go down. The puck here to the near side. Kept in by Purvis. Goes off the side of the cage. And right there, Bergeron makes a heads-up play and smothers the puck. Will pause. Nearly 7 minutes into the third period. 4-2 Fort Wayne. Back after this. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
Get ready, race fans. Memorial Day weekend rocks on TBS. Saturday at 1 Eastern, it's the Tempting Spark Plug 300. Then, Sunday at 4:30 Eastern. TBS offers you a special chance to pick up authentic race gear during NASCAR Showcase. Then it's Gentlemen Start Your Engines for the most grueling race on the circuit, the Coca-Cola 600. A super weekend of racing. Live Memorial Day weekend, exclusively on TBS.
Icy, getting these fans fired up, keeping them entertained. Big crowd on hand, as always, noisily backing their Fort Wayne Komets. Now Chin and Edgerton off that face-off, jawing at each other. There you see the packed Coliseum. There's talk of boxes and additional seating, trying to up the capacity to nearly 11,000 in here. It's about 8,100 now, and that would give Comet management a real opportunity to draw bigger crowds, be a little more successful financially, as an offside is whistled on that rush up the rink, and now it's getting a little chippy.
That's a tough offside to take. Edgerton arguing for interference. Smith has no stick. Darren Smith has no stick and pushes Edgerton into the zone. Now, it's a tactic used, but generally the man has a stick. When he doesn't have a stick, it's very obvious that he's interfering with the player.
There's Darren Smith, one of the many crafty veterans. Hockey observers look up and down this Fort Wayne roster and say, how do they do it? Well, they do it a little bit on guile, a lot on guts, and a lot on the faithful support of the home crowd. They love their Komets in Fort Wayne. Now Ian Boyce dumps it in. And the puck played by Rochford, chased by Kelly Hurd. Up the far side for Drulian. Couldn't get it past Lee Davidson. He's had a good series. Davidson in the far corner, looking for the play. Taken away by LaRouche. LaRouche bothered, finally clears the check of Davidson, gains the line, and then lost it. And as Ruffles played it back, was ruled offsides, and we'll have a face-off as this third period now moves a little bit in fits and starts.
And that's much to the liking of the Fort Wayne Komets. We talked about it in the keys, the clutch and grab style that Fort Wayne does so well. They've been very effective. Liberty had landed a 6 shot in the second period and just 3 shots here in the first 7.5 minutes of the final stanza.
Shots on goal unofficially favor the Komets, 30-19. Now off the draw, Dubois fires it in. Crazy Karam here for LaRouche, right in front. Well, could not steer it on the net. Now LaRouche breaks up the play, and it's taken by Kelly Hurd. Hurd, nice flip pass for Lusick, onside, Ian Boyce, near circle, rolls it to the far corner. Trulia there for the Knights. He bangs it around the near side, and it's cleared to center ice. Kerry Lusick tracks it down. His pass to Lambert. Lambert gains the red line and dumps it in. He got whacked by Jason Rupp. One of the first good hits at center ice we've seen in a long time. Now Ruffles has the puck. He flips it onside for Cummins. Cummins gets there first. His backhander went wide. Cummins tied up behind the net, taken down. Now big Steve Fletcher has it. Takes a whack from Cummins. They collide. Now the puck behind the cage, and it's played ahead but not out. Rivers could not quite keep it in play. Now you've got Middendorf all tied up with LaRouche well behind the play. And the Komets play the puck. Grant Richardson dumps it in. Crazy Karam in front. And Buchanan followed the play as Bergeron went behind the net, anticipating the puck would go there. First time we've seen that in that crazy a fashion. We've seen a couple of errant Karams, but nothing like that right in front. Here's Billy McDougall for Atlanta. McDougall across the line, takes the shot, puts on the brakes, leaves it for Buchanan. His shot just past Cummins, or he'd have had a play all alone in front of the net. Edgerton, a little room behind the cage, centers for Cummins, broken up. Now Middendorf along the near boards in his own zone, feeds Richardson. They've got Darren Smith at the line. Dave Smith fires it in. Komets change as we're nearing the halfway point of the third period. 4-2, Fort Wayne. Atlanta out of their zone. Buchanan feeds it. Onside McDougall. Too crazy. Karam McDougall has it. Centers the shot. Oh, Medill missed the open net. I don't believe it. Now Sharon feeds Dubois. Cross ice broken up on a good poke check by Dupuis. Purvis bumped by Sharon in his own zone. Couldn't clear. He's got a little room now and feeds it cross ice for Tanguay. He kicks it ahead, and here's Atlanta. It's Gretzky across the line with Medill. Gretzky around a check. Gretzky looking in for the play in front all alone. Tanguay could never get the shot cleanly away. Tango behind the cage. Steers it to the far side. The Knights trying to put on some pressure. Kept in at the point. A shot deflected and a penalty by Fort Wayne.
The third blow that Gretzky takes finally draws the penalty. The Knights finally starting to play with a bit of enthusiasm.
Putting on some pressure. Gretzky got whacked finally for the third time, as Mark called it. And the penalty to Guy Dupuis. Whacked him from behind. The cross-check. Time of the penalty, 10:09 into the third period, and we'll have another look as Gretz was perched right in front trying to make the play. Watch number 2 behind him.
Shot from the point. There's the cross-check. That was one of the more minor shots that Dupuis was giving to Gretzky. Topped him with the right hand to the jaw right in front of Martel. Martel decided not to call that one, but Gretzky didn't retaliate, hustled to the front of the net, and draws the penalty.
Oh, the Atlanta Knights, who went 4 for 5 on the power play Thursday, so far 0 for 2, get their third power play opportunity of the hockey game, trailing 4-2. Take a look at this one. I think this is Medill.
Another crazy Karam in front, and Medill right there misses the open net.
Now off the draw, LaRouche, far side along the boards in the attack zone. To the point and Edgerton. His shot, Karam's through, behind the net. Now LaRouche, check that Trulia, right in front for Rivers. He tried to tee up the shot, it popped right off his stick like a jumping bean. Now back to Rivers, one-timer went wide. Over to the far side and Devin Edgerton. Behind the net, LaRouche. Kicked away by Lambert. He pushes it up and out of the zone. Penalties in minutes, favoring the Komets by 2. The Komets have had 3 power plays. The Knights now in their third. And here is Jason Rupp around a check. Jason Rupp leaves it there. Gets it back in the corner. Trying to push it there for Trulia. To the far point, Edgerton. A little time. Slap shot knocked down in front. He gets it back. Turns around, throws it in front for Ruff. Shot, save, the rebound. Sidorkiewicz smothered. And look at the pummeling that's being dished out by Grant Richardson. He didn't tie up Jason Ruff. He started beating on him. And I think we have a couple of more penalties being called. Ruff is going to the box, and it's hard to understand why. We'll pause and have more from Fort Wayne after this. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey. Along with Richardson.
Watch in front. It is Ruff. They did get the right man in the box. But watch Jason Ruff take 1, 2, 3 shots. He skates away. Then he gets into it. The referee throws both players off, as generally is the case.
Let me correct myself. The Knights are on their 3rd power play. Fort Wayne has had 2. There you see Icy cheering on the crowd. With the double minors here, it remains 5-on-4. A power play for Atlanta in front of the net minors for the next minute 4. Time starting to become a factor. Inside 9 minutes left in the hockey game. These penalties coming at the 11:06 mark.
Colin Chin did a good job there to get McDougal tossed. Now they have Smith, who's an equally aggressive faceoff person against Medill, who takes very few faceoffs.
The Knights win the draw. Medill, far circle, looking for the play. Feeds it to Cummins in the corner. Leaves it at the point. Dubois slap shot, deflected air ball into the crowd. And we'll have a faceoff between the blue line on the top of the circle in the Fort Wayne zone.
Again, the case where a younger player at the point there takes that big slap shot. He needs to just snap that on net. When you wind up like that, the odds are a Fort Wayne stick is going to get in front of your shot and do just that and deflect it. Now the faceoff is right near the blue line.
As you say, a quick low snap shot, and you never know whose stick, leg, or whatever might deflect it in. 52 seconds left on the Atlanta power play. The Komets win the draw and send it all the way down. Bergeron leaves it for Drulia. Drulia and Dubois on the back line. McDougal, Medill, and Cummins the front line. McDougal dumps it in. Lambert there first. Steers it behind the net. Played by Lucic. Ahead to Davidson, who clears the zone. One last rush up the rink for the Knights with 22 seconds left on the power play. Bergeron steers it up the far side for Billy McDougal. Tipped ahead by Medill, intercepted by Lucic, taken back by the Knights and back by Davidson. And that'll do it for the power play with 8 minutes left in the hockey game. 4-2 Fort Wayne. Now the Knights feed it past Medill in front of the Atlanta bench, cleared by the Komets. Dubois back the other way. McDougal across the line. To Medill. Backhand shot. Saved. The rebound behind the net. Now McDougal looking for the play. McDougal in front, and Cummins fanned out for Rivers. His shot broken up. Played by Chin, and here they come. Chin ahead to Purvis. Purvis into the zone, bothered by Dubois. Purvis tried to center and hit a skate. He got wiped out by Cummins, and the puck played up the near side for Devin Edgerton. Edgy across the red line. Edgy, far side, and Cummins catching up to the puck in the corner. Centers and hit a stick and comes here to the near side. Sharon, the defenseman, in deep gambling. Throws it behind the net. Lucic takes it away for the Komets. Now Lucic up the far side, and here come the Komets. Now 7 minutes left in the hockey game. It's 4-2 Fort Wayne. Colin Chin has it, throws it back into the zone, as now it becomes a game of territorial positioning. If the Knights hope to get back into this one, they need a goal here in the next couple of minutes. And then hang on, if nothing else, to give themselves the opportunity to pull the netminder and make something happen. Now, here's a long pass broken up by Eric Sharon. Now Tanguay with it into the zone. Pushes it to the corner. Sidorkiewicz plays it up the far side. Broken up by the Knights. Played by Dave Smith. It's in the jersey. We got a whistle. We'll pause. A 2-goal lead for the Komets. We'll be right back. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.
So when I turn the key, it sounds like my starter is going bad. And so I figured since I heard about AutoZone, it was a good place to try as any, right? But get this. I go in there to buy a starter. The guy tells me we need to test my old one first just to make sure that's not the problem. It turns out that it's the solenoid switch. That one little test saved me a big headache. You know, that AutoZone's all right. And when you get service like that, I mean, you don't forget it.
Watch the extracurricular activities. Number 77 will come into your picture.
Here comes Fletcher, well after the whistle. Now watch the left elbow. Right there. Shot to the face. They're not going to call that in the playoffs. In the regular season, that's a penalty. The man does his job very well.
Now Gretzky to take the draw with Colin Chin. The Knights win the face-off to the point. A shot. Sidorkowicz with the save. The rebound. Kept alive by Roastford. Behind the net, Gretzky. Centers for Trulia. Broken up and played by Max Middendorf. Ahead to Dave Smith. He dumps it in on the diagonal down to the near corner and down to our right. And it's played now by Atlanta and Bucky Buchanan. Trulia looking for the play. Beats Gretzky. As the lines have been jockeyed up somewhat here. Trulia taken down. Gretzky taken down. The puck pushed into the corner by Buchanan. He ties up with Fletcher. The puck behind the net. Buchanan centers. Nobody home. Here's Kelly Hurd. Trying to get out of the zone past Gretzky. He does. 1-on-2. Lost it at center ice for Trulia. To Medill. Touch pass. Nobody home. The Knights were in the change, and now it's loose at center ice and played by Fletcher. He dumps it in. And Atlanta now sends out LaRouche, Ruff, and Edgerton. 5.5 minutes left in the hockey game. 4-2 Fort Wayne. Bucky Buchanan feeds LaRouche. Drop pass, Edgy. Rolls it in front. Kicked out of there. Kept alive in the goal! Jason Ruff finally gets one past Sidorkowicz on a whoops. Fort Wayne kicked it seemingly out of harm's way, right onto Ruff's stick. His quick shot caught the inside of the post, and it's a 4-3 hockey game. There's time now with 5:21 left, and the Atlanta fans cheering here in Fort Wayne. A goal for Jason Ruff.
Kind of a fluke play. Everton was trying to hit Buchanan with this play. Goes off the Fort Wayne player, and a one-timer by Ruff. He finds his 6th goal of the playoffs, and the Knights find themselves back in the hockey game.
14:39, the time of the third period, and it's a one-goal game. And now, will the Fort Wayne Komets start to shake their head, wondering, uh-oh, what'll happen here? Now off the draw, the puck played in the neutral zone. Jason Ruff now at the Atlanta line, leaves it for LaRouche. Here he comes, Edgerton on the fly. LaRouche's shot off the blocker into the corner, near side, and Lucic along the near boards, kept in by the Knights and Rivers. His pass taken down by Lucic, played by Davidson, and Lambert just says, get this thing out of the zone. Now Dubois keeps it alive for Devin Edgerton. Edgy steers it to Ruff, onside. Cleared by the Komets. Taken back by Dubois, who's backhands it in, and the Knights will change. Here comes McDougal, Cummins. And the third forward out will be Tango. The Knights break it up in the zone. Right in front, shot! Save! It was wide! Oh my, Cummins was right there. Couldn't put it home. Now the Knights doing some big forechecking. But Fort Wayne's Lambert taken down, no call. Two players collide, the puck free for Davidson, who flips it in well short of the red line. And they wave off the icing. Instead, it's played by Atlanta. Fort Wayne changes lines, and Tango comes out of his own zone. Here's Tanguay to the red line, moving to the left to the blue line, around to check to the corner. Bothered by Richardson, gets by him, looking for the centering pass. Tango cleared out of there by Richardson, second hit, and the puck played by Purvis. Good comeback by Richardson. Here's Colin Chin flying into the zone near side. Drop pass. It's played by Darren Smith. Shot, save, and Bergeron hangs on, and we'll pause here. It's 4-3. The Comet lead is 1. 3:49 to go. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey. Paris Jr., head coach of the Atlanta Knights, has seen his team strike here in the third period to make it a 4-3 hockey game in favor of Fort Wayne. 3:49 to go. Plenty of time. Face-off coming up in the Atlanta zone. There you see Lee Davidson. A moment ago, you had a look at Steve LaRouche. Big face-off here. Now, battle for in the circle. Clear to the corner, and Rivers bangs it off the near boards. Kept in by Lucic. Loose along the boards. Hurd steers it ahead. Banged again off the boards. Here's Hurd. Try to push it in front. Now Davidson centers right through the goal mouth. Bergeron steered it out. Trenowitz far circle. Throws it behind the net off the glass. Davidson, battling there with Rivers, who takes him out of the play. Now Jason Rupp gathers it in, pushes it ahead for Trulia, wiped out by Lucic, but he got it out of the zone. Now the Komets and Tredowitz dumps it in. Bergeron leaves it for Dubois up the far side. He's bumped off the play by Davidson. Now Davidson bothered by Stan Trulia. And the Komets steer it behind the net now with 3:05 to go in the hockey game. The Knights trail by 1. A long pass for Jason Rupp. Ruppel bothered, leaves it for LaRouche. Here he comes to the line with a head of steam for Trulia. He waits, shooting, stick save, it's into the crowd. Great rush into the zone, and we'll pause. 2:54 to go. Back after this. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey. Back at the Coliseum, it's a one-goal game. The Atlanta Knights trying to come back and tie it up. 2:50 remaining. The Komets win the draw. They send it ahead and out of the zone where Billy McDougall plays it for the Atlanta Knights. Keep an eye on the clock. We'll keep an eye on the Atlanta net as Medill dumps it in. 2:40 left. Sidorkiewicz has it. Plays it off the near board. Tracked down by Purvis, who sends it all the way down. Here's Darren Smith. Smith in first, onside. Moves it in front, broken up on a good play. Nice back check by the speedy Martin Tanguay. The puck along the near boards, played by Colin Chin. To the deep slot, Purvis, one-timer, deflected wide. Now in the corner, Smith behind the net. Darren Smith right in front. His shot off the stick went wide here to the near side. Now Medill. Fort Wayne doing some great forechecking. But McDougall pushes it ahead to center ice where Lambert fires it right back in. Played by Buchanan as the Komets change. A little room on the rink. 2 minutes to go in the hockey game. Now pushed all the way down. We're going to have an icing call here. Tough break for the Knights on that play, and we'll take it back down to our right with 1:52. And we'll see when John Perez Jr. wants to pull J.C. Bergeron. Perez to the door. Following instructions, there you see the Atlanta netminder. And these Comet fans are once again on their feet cheering their favorites with 1:52 left.
Can't be wondering if the Atlanta Knights will call the timeout. And as the way it stands right now, Game 6, Wednesday, May 25th at 7:30 at the Omni.
There will be no live television of that hockey game.
The only way you can see it is live at the Omni. Call 525-8900 for tickets, if necessary. We have 1:52 to make it not necessary as the Atlanta Knights trail the Komets by 1.
The draw to the Komets, Lambert. He throws it behind the net. Boyce off the glass, banged by Dubois. Kicks it to the corner, and the puck played now by the Knights. Dubois out of his zone, feeds Rivers. Rivers to the red line, dumps it in. No movement at the Atlanta net yet. Sidorkiewicz up the far side. Trulia keeps it alive for the Knights. Now Jason Rupp right in front, broken up by Lucic. Loose in front, played here to the near point, and Rivers turns around, throws a shot, kicked wide by Lucic, and now he pushes it down. Davidson rolls it in. Now we're down to 1:15. If the Knights gain the zone, Bergeron will head to the bench. Now the long pass, too far for everybody, and as it's touched up by the Komets, that's icing. So we'll have a face-off again back down the other way.
2 icing calls in the last 2 minutes of the hockey game. Critical mental errors by the Atlanta Knights. You cannot afford to ice the puck twice in the last 2.5 minutes of a hockey game and expect to tie it.
You know, it's interesting. The Knights are so seldom in this position. They so seldom have to pull the goaltender for the extra attacker late in the game.
Wouldn't surprise me if John Parrish will call a timeout to at least rest his big goal scorers.
He may be waiting for a face-off in the attack zone.
Watch for Atlanta, if there is a face-off in the attack zone in the last minute, to go with 6 forwards, or at least 5 forwards on the ice. And maybe a big shot from the point from a Sharon or a Buchanan.
Edgerton and Chin to take the draw. Won by the Komets. Purvis almost had a shot. Now a battle for the puck. Sharon all tied up. Medill feeds it ahead to Big Jim Cummins. Here he comes to the red line. He dumps it in. Bergeron heading now to the bench. Sidorkiewicz steers it up the far side. It's into the crowd, and we'll have a face-off deep in the attack zone for the Atlanta Knights, and there you have the empty net. 49 ticks left on the clock. Is there a miracle on a stick in the hands of an Atlanta Knight player? J.C. Bergeron is on the bench. The Komets will be looking for the empty netter. And we're 49 ticks away from needing a Game 6. And we hope you Atlanta fans will make your way to the Omni if necessary. And now, John Paris Jr. indeed has called a timeout with the faceoff coming up in the attack zone. .49 ticks left on the clock. Bruce Boudreau talking to his troops defensively. They want to win this faceoff and push that thing down, not dump it down. They don't necessarily want an icing. They want to try and get some kind of a flow, get to the red line, and then see if they can dump it into the empty net. The Knights will take a look at how they line up and see what kind of a strategy John Paris has. He will send out Rivers, Trulia, LaRouche, Dubois, Ruff, and McDougal. There you have the half a dozen Atlanta Knights.
I'm a little surprised that Devin Henderson is not at one of the point positions right now. Both Dubois and Rivers can definitely handle the puck well, but Henderson's still good with his hands.
Now LaRouche will take the draw, but he's got McDougal to step in there if Mushy is chased. Colin Chin to take the draw for the Komets. The Knights win the faceoff. Played in the circle. Dave Smith gets a stick on it. Clears it all the way down, sliding. That's good. That's in. The Comet faithful are up as Dave Smith scores the empty netter. And indeed, there will be a Game 6. This series is going back to the Omni, and the Fort Wayne Komets have done at least what minimally they needed to do, and that is capture 2 out of the 3 on home ice. The Knights unable to garner control, and Smith had a moment, waited, and cleared it. And was right on target, right dead center between the pipes. Now off the draw, the Komets dump it in. We're down to 30 seconds left. And the Knights, Rivers bangs it off the boards. Now Purvis rolls it in. And the Atlanta Knights play it with 20 seconds left. Here comes the Mad Dog, Jeff Medill, from the red line. Blasts a long one just wide, and the deep rebound smothered by Sidorkowitz. And we'll have a face-off with 13 seconds left. Lambert gets an assist on the empty netter. Off the draw. At 19:18 of the third period. The Knights will now look for Game 6. And it'll be Wednesday night, May 25th. At 7:30 at the Omni. Again, there will be no live television. We'll have it for you on the radio network. Our pregame at 7 o'clock. But for ticket information, call Ticketmaster or call the Knights office at 525-8900. Well, keep the champagne on ice. Off the draw, Dubois fires wide. Played by Dave Smith of the Komets with 6 seconds. The fans counted down. Marcel won't blow the whistle here. It's over. And Bruce Boudreau has never been so happy to pack his bags as he is right now. The series will come back to Atlanta with the Knights leading 3-2, and if necessary, the deciding Games 6, and if necessary, 7, on much friendlier ice at the Omni. And the Knights know what they have to do as they head to the locker room. The intensity must pick up for 60 minutes. The Komets win it 5-3. Back after this. This is Atlanta Knights playoff hockey.